Okay, so welcome everyone to today's session. We are looking at IELTS writing task 2. And today we are going to be focusing on writing topic sentences for an advantages outweigh the disadvantages essay. So when we're looking at topic sentences, first we need to know what is the purpose of them. So basically we're introducing the idea in your paragraph. So it's really, really important that you directly answer the question in your topic sentence. That basically you're saying, okay, when you start writing your paragraph, this is where you tell the reader, this is what I'm writing about. And then everything in that paragraph, until you have another idea, has to be about that. So it's like, okay, this is our idea. Then our explanation has to relate to the topic sentence. Our example will relate to the topic sentence, and everything has to be about this one idea. You need to signpost topic sentences. So when I say signpost, you need to show what type of question it is. So today we've got an advantages outweigh the disadvantages type of essay. So we need to show, are we talking about advantages? Are we talking about disadvantages? And for each type of question, it's going to be slightly different. Maybe you've got a cause and a solution. Then you have to outline that you're talking about a cause, or you have to outline that you're talking about a solution. So it's really important to signpost the exact type of question that you're talking about. A good topic sentence means a writer can guess what the question is without having read it. So if you read your topic sentence, basically they don't have to read the question. They know what the question is by reading your topic sentence. And we can create good topic sentences by separating them into 4 parts. So we're going to have a look at this today. And if you follow this like 4-part technique for topic sentences, they become super easy. You end up following the correct grammar, basically follow this structure, and your topic sentences will be super easy. Today's question that we're looking at is, the world should have only one government rather than a national government for each country. Do the advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages? And we've been generating some ideas recently. And I think we said that the disadvantages outweigh the advantages. Remember, when we deal with this type of question, we always put the weak side in the first main body paragraph. So whichever one has the least. So in this case, I think we decided that advantages was the weak side. So we're going to talk about advantages first. And then there's a second body paragraph. We're going to talk about the strong side, so we'll talk about the disadvantages. So this was our outline statement. So although a single government can mitigate immigration issues, so this is our advantage or disadvantage. For anyone watching this at home, I've got some students here who I'm asking these questions to, and we will be looking at whatever they say in the chat and reviewing it here. So yeah, this first part is the advantage. So the advantage of having the single government is that we have less immigration issues. So we said this is the weak side. So the weak side, just quickly remind me, is it going in the first or the second body paragraph? So yeah, exactly, the first. So this is the one we're going to look at first. Okay, so let me just highlight this. And then in the second body paragraph, we'll have a look at this second idea. Okay, so a single government can mitigate. So if you're not sure what the word mitigate means, like reduce immigration issues. So who of my students who have done this before can give me a topic sentence for this paragraph? And then we'll break it down and have a look at what the 4 parts are. So remember, we need to be saying, is it an advantage? Is it a disadvantage? What is an advantage or disadvantage of? Some connecting words, and then our main idea. So if you're watching this at home on YouTube, you can practice along with this as we go along with my students. It's going to take them a little bit of time to write the sentence. Once we have a sentence from one of our students, I will break it down and see if they've done a good job or not. Just a reminder, this is our first body paragraph. Just to remind you, we need to be saying if it's an advantage or a disadvantage, what the advantages of, and what is our main idea. Okay, so I have a sentence here from Nabila. Let's have a look at this to start with. And then we can break this down. So one advantage of, so this is our first part. Very, very clear. One advantage of. So we know it's an advantage. What is it an advantage of? That having a global government. So very clear what the advantage is referring to. Then we need some joining words. The two easy joining words here we can use is that or is because. Okay. We can use these over and over again. And after this is that or is because, we're always going to have a clause. So if we have a clause, that means subject, verb, object. So that is that, there will be less immigrations problems. So we've definitely got our clause here. Can you tell me why the grammar correction thing is picking out a problem here? What is wrong with immigrations? Aha, Nabila, yes, it should be singular. Can you tell me why it should be singular? Do we know why it should have no S? Yeah, it's like a compound noun. Basically, the noun here, immigration, which is describing your second noun. So when we have a noun that describes another noun, the first noun is 99% singular. Okay, so just consider this as one big noun. So highlight this, and this is the structure that we really want to be following. So we've got part one, we're mentioning it's an advantage. Part two, we're saying what it's an advantage of. Part three, we're using is that or is because to link this. And then part four, you're stating what your idea is. Okay, so here, really good job. Well done, Nabila. Let's have a look at some others. So this one, what is the first thing that I'm going to mention with this? Yeah, remember, beginning of sentences, end of sentences, we need a capital at the beginning, full stop at the end. These kind of minor mistakes, just things that are going to jump out an examiner, like capital letters and full stops. So always make sure sentences begin, and especially as this is going to be the beginning of a paragraph, super important that our sentences begin with capital letters and sentences ends with full stops. So the main advantage, okay, good. So we have got of having only single government. So here we can say of having only, the government here is accountable. So having only a single government. Or you could have having only one government. So these are two options. You could have having only a single government or having only one. So both of these are okay. So having only a single government in the world is that. Okay, great. So very clear what our advantages of is that. Again, we've got our joining words, which is excellent. It can reduce immigration issues. Excellent. Subject, verb, object. Very impressed with this because this comes from one of our new students who is joining us today, Rajat. So Rajat, well done. Following our structure, which we've been going over on the course really well. An excellent topic sentence, very, very clear. Well done. Okay. So primary benefit of excellent. Having one government instead of a national. So this part great. The instead of is great. Are we talking about we're having one government for the world instead of one national government? So what is wrong with this phrase? Mary, can you tell me? So we're not saying we're having one government for the world or just one government for one country. We're having one government for the world instead of national governments for each, exactly, Nabila, yeah. So we can't say because is referring to one. So instead of national governments would be the correct way to word this. So having one government instead of national governments. Apart from that, good. Is that excellent? This can lead to less immigration problems. Wonderful. Super clear topic sentences. You guys are doing really well. Okay. What I'm going to do is, a second, we duplicate the slide, so I've got some space. Marathon. So a potential benefit of, okay, so this works. The entire world being operated under the same government. Excellent. Colors right is that. See how easy it is. If we just follow the structure, everything kind of fits into place. It is able to minimize immigration problems. Minimize immigration issues. Okay. Yeah, excellent. Well done. You guys are doing really well today. Okay, let's have a look at this one. The one advantage is that unifying the government, immigration procedures would be less problematic for people. So this part is clear. Sorry, I've got my colors wrong. Apologies. Where have we gone a little bit wrong here? How can we maybe fix this? So by wording the green part after the blue part is really difficult for our sentence structure. So the people are saying it's missing an advantage of what? So they've tried to put that part in, but they've tried to put it in after the is that, which makes our wording a little bit difficult. We could maybe use it with a conditional, But what I'm going to say here, let's put this in the structure that we've had, because we know the structure we have works. So if we know something works, we're not going to do something different. So we're going to take this bit and put it here. One advantage. So what comes after one advantage? If we look here, one advantage of, one main advantage of, one benefit of. So here, use this language. One advantage of unifying the government. So this is a little bit confusing. Unifying, what are we unifying? Because you can't unify one government. So if you unify, it means to bring things together. So if you say unifying the government, well, the government is already a singular thing. So we can't unify the government. So what would we be unifying? We need multiple things to unify. So what are we trying to make one? Yeah, okay, we could simply just do governance. One advantage of unifying governance, or we could maybe put unifying national governments, but governance would be fine. So we're trying to show that this at the moment is not unified, and we're going to make it unified, that there are many, and we're going to make it one. So one advantage of unifying governments. And now we're following the structure. Is that? After is that, do I need a comma? No. So generally in English, we don't put a comma after that. Like everything in English, there are exceptions, but if you're just looking at the word that, it's very, very rare that a comma is going to follow it. Okay. So now we've got this nice structure, the yellow, green, blue, gray. So we've got the 4-part and very, very clear, grammar works. Okay. So the ideas were absolutely fine, but just try and follow this structure like this. Here we start off with the signposting. What is it signposting? Joining words, main idea. Okay, I think there are still some other people who have I not looked at your topic sentences yet. We have 5, and I think we have 6 people. Okay. So main advantage of, excellent. Having a single government worldwide, excellent. Is that. It really is. It's like a mathematical formula. So for people who don't like language and they like mathematics, this is the way to go. Follow the mathematical formula. So you've got this, okay, having a single government worldwide is that it can reduce immigration problem. Excellent, very, very clear. Was there anyone else of any of my students who have not looked at that work yet? Okay, I'm gonna take that as everyone's been looked at. So everyone did an incredible job, really, really well done with the first part. So now we're going to look at our second body paragraph. So this one, we're looking at drawbacks. Are the drawbacks strong or weak? So the drawbacks outweigh the benefits. So if we see outweigh, that means this part's the stronger part. So we're going to be looking at the strong side next. And when we look at the strong side, that goes in our second body paragraph. So why? What is our main idea here? And this is what we're going to be writing topic sentences about. So implementing the system would not be simple. So again, same idea, this 4-part structure. This time we need to indicate we're talking about a drawback. Then we're going to say, what is a drawback of? Those two joining words. And then we're going to have a look at just to state our main idea. So again, over to our students. If you're at home, try and come up with an idea yourself. See if you come up with a similar idea and similar structure to what my students are writing here in class. We have our first one here. So one disadvantage of being ruled by one state is that it is difficult to govern the whole world at the same time. So we're going to, again, get our colors, make sure we're all right. One disadvantage of excellent. Being ruled by one state. Yeah, we know what the disadvantages of now is that we have our joining words. It is difficult to govern the whole world at the same time. Okay. Something we've also got to make sure when we're writing topic sentences, that the ideas in our topic sentences are the same as what? Yeah, the intro. So our introduction, so whatever has been mentioned here, we've got to have the same ideas. Is there anywhere else that we've got to have exactly the same ideas? So the introduction, the topic sentence. Where else would we maybe have the same idea written? Yeah, the conclusion, very important. So for the cohesion of your essay to be correct, make sure that the idea basically here in your introduction is going to be exactly the same as your idea here. And the idea is the gray part, if we're looking at colors, in your topic sentence. And then the idea has to be repeated again in your conclusion. And that's really, really important. That the same idea is mentioned 3 times in your essay. Mary said, can we copy the intro and then we still have a band 7? Yeah, as long as what was in your intro was correct. So your conclusion is basically just a paraphrase of the outline statement. So as long as your vocabulary is accurate in both and you're copying, you can do that. If you can reword it a little bit, it's going to be better. Yeah, if you're running out of time, that's definitely a really nice little trick. Just copy whatever you wrote. Here you just put in conclusion, although a single government, and you could just repeat it. As I said, the important thing is you get this part right. Obviously, if you're copying something and the grammar and the vocabulary is wrong, then that's not going to help if you've copied it. But if you know that what you've got here is right, if you copy it again, as I said, as long as it's accurate, then it shouldn't stop you getting the band 7. Obviously, if you can reword a little bit, it's always going to be better. But to get the band 7 is accuracy. That is for your vocabulary. Okay. That's very, very important. Okay, so let's have a look at this one from Mary, and then we'll have a look at Rajat's. So, first one, the major drawback of okay, first part, good. If I say the major drawback, what does this imply? How many drawbacks are there? this word the indicates how many drawbacks. It is indicating at the moment, yeah, Marisol's correct, just one. So if you say the major drawback, but remember the question says, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? And we're trying to say that the drawbacks outweigh the benefits. So what would be better than saying the major drawback? So the word major is okay. The problem is the article. So it would be much better to say one. The one major drawback of, that indicates we're only talking about one, but there are others. So you're implying there are others, which goes back to this idea that the drawbacks outweigh the benefits. So one major one we're talking about is this one. That it's again a really minor issue, but I would say this reads a lot better saying one major drawback rather than just going the major drawback, because you're just here you're indicating it's one of many rather than just saying there's only one drawback. So one major drawback of there being a single government instead of national governments. Okay, good. That part's very clear. Is that. Good. Imposing this law would be complicated. Okay, we've got our 4 parts. The vocabulary and the grammar. Excellent. What we're seeing here is very impressive what the students that we've got here today are doing. They are getting the vocabulary of grammar. But once you start following a set structure, your vocabulary and grammar, or especially your grammar, starts to follow a logical structure. If you have a logical structure, it means your grammar, rather than taking lots of risks, you're not taking absolutely no risks because you know exactly the kind of structure you should be following. This is the reason, apart from the fact that my students are doing really well, but it's one of the reasons that we're just getting very, very good topic sentences at the beginning, and I'm not having to correct many things because they're following this really nice structure. So follow it and you'll find that things get a lot easier because you don't have to start getting complicated, and yeah, it will become unconsciously automatic, as Mary says. Yeah. Okay, Vanessa has a question. With the advantage, can we also say the main advantage? I would say if you're going to have like a weak side, it doesn't really matter. So if you're talking about the weak side, you just go the main advantage, because we're trying to say that the drawbacks outweigh the benefits. So I don't think it's so important on the weak side, but still, I think just putting a potential, one advantage, I think it reads better. Is it really going to change your score? I doubt it. But this was something that Barry said about when he looked at, so Barry's our guest examiner, he looked at our last essay and he says, sometimes you just have a feeling about the quality of writing. That feeling comes from lots of little things. You can't looking at, oh, well, they wrote the main advantage, but bit by bit, like these little slightly unnatural expressions, or they build up, you're like, something's wrong. And, you know, again, if you're looking for those band 8s, band 9s, that's what you want to make sure that everything is really natural. So it's better to write a or one than the. Okay. Okay, so coming to here. So again, Raja, looks like it's got a good structure, but Raja, yeah. Tell me, what am I going to pick out on this? What is missing? So I know for Indian students, they find capitalization really difficult, but we need capitals at the beginning. Okay. So That's super important, and we need full stops at the end. Something I would really recommend, so if you ever, if you're talking to friends, maybe use WhatsApp or something, and I'm sure normally what you do is you don't worry about capital letters, you don't worry about punctuation. Until you've passed your IELTS, start worrying. Make sure that everything you write to anyone is grammatically correct. Rajat saying he was writing in a rush. Take your time. We've got time. It doesn't take you more than an extra second to think about these things. Get in the habits. These are good habits to get into. And you will find you start doing it on purpose. I do it myself now. I write like WhatsApp messages to people. And it always used to be everything was like lowercase. I didn't have any punctuation. And now I find I put it in because I'm dealing with this all the time. But by doing that, it means you don't make little mistakes in your exam. So this is what we want to avoid, because once you get to a reasonable level, what's going to start bringing down your writing is just little mistakes which you didn't even notice, because in your exam you are in a rush and you're under pressure. And if you can get into the habit of not making those mistakes when you're not rushing, or when you're not under the pressure of an exam, you'll find in the exam you're not going to make those mistakes. So just get in good habits. Always start sentences with capital letters, always finish with a full stop. And if you can, like the commas, things like that, try and focus on them. Because if you do it now, as I said, when it comes to the actual exam itself, you're not going to make those mistakes. And that's, at times, that can be what affects your grammar score between a 7 and a 6. Okay, so hit one negative side off, so this is good. They'll be like, yeah, okay, catch you later. One negative side, so having a single government in war. Ooh. So here we wouldn't actually use this prepositional phrase. You could say in the world, because worldwide is an adjective. So an adjective, what does an adjective describe? What type of word? So an adverb supports a verb, Mary. So an adjective supports a noun. Excellent. So what is our main noun here in this sentence? In this clause, what is our main noun? Government, exactly. So we put our worldwide before the government. So we can put so if you want to use worldwide, it being an adjective, we put it here. If you want to use this prepositional phrase, we have a prepositional phrase of place, which is also possible. So prepositional phrases of place do come at the end, but then we need a noun. So the noun form of worldwide is the world. Okay. So both of these options are okay. Having a single worldwide government or having a single government in the world. Either of these are grammatically okay. But we are following this good structure, so well done. That's excellent. It would not be simple for a government to implement the system. Again, I'm loving the fact that people are just following this nice structure of subject, verb, object. Great job. Again, well done. Let me, or having a single government worldwide. So Vanessa was saying, can I put worldwide after the government? Yes, but if you, just to make your life simple, so if you follow the general grammar rules, single worldwide government, it makes it easier for you to just be thinking adjectives should go before nouns. Yes, in this instance, you could break the rules. It does work. But in general, in your head, much better to think that adjectives go before a noun, but you are correct in this instance. That does work. Let me just duplicate this. Have some space. Yeah. And yeah, as Vanessa says, keep it simple. Exactly. Rio said, can we say in the world globally? Let's go back to the sentence. Yeah, so here you can say one negative side of having a single government in the government. Globally. What type of word is globally here? Very good, yeah, an adverb. So what is the adverb referring to? So remember, we're actually talking about an adverb should refer to a verb. So what part of this could be considered as a verb in this? So it works. What part of this is a verb that's been mutated? The having. So the globally here is referring to the having rather than the government. And that's actually made me realize where worldwide, you're using it. Who was asking about this? When Vanessa mentioned about worldwide, worldwide could actually be used as an adverb here. And that's why we put worldwide here, because they're actually adverbs. So the adverb and the adjective are the same for worldwide. Rio said, could we have a negative side of globally having a single government? No. The globally would come after this gerundial phrase. Okay, so don't put it before the gerund, put it at the end of it, gerundial phrase. So put it at the end here. So let's go on to some more. We've got one from Marissa. Vanessa. One disadvantage of being led by a worldwide government. So excellent. Is that the implementation of certain systems would not be straightforward. Very impressed that everyone managed to completely reword this second part and keep the meaning the same. So well done. Yep. So we've got another really good topic sentence here. So one main disadvantage of having a single government worldwide is that implementing the system will be difficult. Guys, you're making this look too easy. Well done. Really, really good. Are we missing someone, or have we had all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, we got Ries again. You've come so far in a very short time, Vanessa. It's very impressive. But the thing that you guys are doing is just keeping it simple. Once you follow that mantra of keep it simple, you suddenly realize that writing isn't that difficult. which is why it becomes so frustrating for teachers at times, because I know myself, marking essays, I end up screaming at the computer screen going, no, why are you making it so difficult? Oh, Vanessa, I've seen a lot of people's first essays, which were really quite painful. Rajat said it should be single worldwide government, as you mentioned earlier. So I was saying both of these are actually okay, because in this instance, it's being it acts as an adverb. So if you're using it as an adverb, it's okay. What you cannot do here, Rajat, is put in. Because the second you put in, you need a noun afterwards. You can't follow in with an adjective on its own or an adverb on its own. It doesn't make sense. So this is where the problem was. So if you got rid of the in worldwide and just having a single government worldwide, the worldwide here is referring to the having. So this actually works. Okay. And then let's have a look at this last sentence. So one drawback of having a one global system. So I don't think you're ever going to see this in English. Having a one. Why do we almost never see these two words together? So yeah, having one is good. All entails to singular. So basically, they mean exactly the same thing. A and a one. They're direct synonyms of each other. So if I said a global system, it means exactly the same as saying one global system. So it would be a bit like me saying having a global system is that. So we don't need both words because they both mean the same thing. So one drawback of having a global system is that there will be difficulties for a single government to regulate all together. So, okay, having yes. So to regulate all together doesn't work here. There will be difficult for a single government to regulate. What is it regulating? What thing is it regulating? The system. Okay, yeah, Roger. I think that's right. The system. It would be one system because we've already referred to the system here, so we can use a definite article. The one drawback of having a global system is that there will be difficulties for a global government to regulate the system. Okay. So this would work. So it's possible. So Marisol was saying, should we say systems? But we already mentioned here that we're talking about a global system. So the system we're referring to is this system, and this system is singular because it's a global system. So no need for this to be plural. Rajat mentioned A difficulties. So do you mean having A here? No. A bit confused as to your question. So definitely, it was mentioned earlier. Okay. Yeah. You definitely don't want A with a plural noun. So I was helping a Russian friend of mine the other day, and he had this all in his writing. Never have the indefinite article with plural nouns. So if that is anywhere, that's definitely wrong. Okay. So I think this is all good. So a drawback of having a global system is that there will be difficulties for a single government to regulate the system. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Is there anyone else who I've not looked at yet? Okay, so I'm going to end our video here, and then I'm going to take a few extra questions from my students separately outside of the video. So I hope anyone watching this on YouTube found this useful. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments or join our Facebook group. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, hit like and share, and good luck to everyone in their studies.